Welcome back to Whitt Acres. It's a rainy May day, so we're out here in the greenhouse and we're going to do a little greenhouse update. I got Echo Pup in the greenhouse with me, helping out so he doesn't get all wet in the rain. He likes being in the greenhouse here with me, for a while at least. If you followed me last year, you know the greenhouse is not as full as it was last year, but I still think I got all the plants that I'm going to be needing this year. I did some up potting the other day with the tomatoes and peppers and some of the flowers as well, the annual dahlias, marigolds. Well, I got some water bubbling out of a hole here. I think this is the end of an old French drain that the dogs dug up. I don't think my pump is keeping up with the rain. Seems like my pond is flooded. For the peppers, once they get to about this size, you want to come in here and take off just the very tip. So all I do is take my fingernail and just pinch right there. It takes the top right off the pepper. And this is going to help the pepper stalk out, get real stalky and strong and multi-branch, and that'll hold a lot more peppers during the growing season. If you don't do this, they can get really tall and lanky, and then whenever they put on a full set of peppers, the wind can break the branches right off. So you always want to come in here. I'll show you again. Just take your fingernail and just pop the top right off the pepper and let it keep going. So I'm going to go in here and do this to all the peppers that I up potted. And yeah, that's going to help them out a lot. Tomatoes, on the other hand, you do not want to do that with. I main stem my tomatoes, so those are going to be all straight one stem tomatoes, and I'm going to pinch off all the suckers. If you happen to get any flowers on all your tomatoes and peppers, you want to get those off as well. Always pick off the first round of flowers off the tomato or pepper. That will actually help them put down more roots before they start trying to produce fruit, and that'll produce a stronger plant and a larger harvest during the growing season. We've got some things up potted. As you can tell, we got some marigolds, we got some annual dahlias, some large zinnias. Zinnias is actually another one that you can come in here and pinch the top off. Mine are kind of stocky right now, so I don't have a clear top. If I just pulled that one, it'd probably just be leaves. I wanted to actually get the growing point. So I'm going to wait on these, but you do want to top your zinnias as well. Marigolds, you could probably go either way. I don't really top my marigolds. Calendula, no. And then the rest of these are peppers and tomatoes. And then we have some verbena and larkspur that did germinate, only a few of those. I have 6 snapdragons back here that did germinate, and then we have some coneflower plugged in here as well. I have some Cali bell peppers, some carnival bell peppers, best boy, brandywine tomatoes. Not sure which those ones are. Can't tell, but they're big. Some pineapple geranium kiss, Ace 55 tomatoes. Those are both cherry tomatoes, and they're going to be on a patio container. Then we have some brandywine and marzano back there as well. Trying to spread out all my plants here in the greenhouse so they can all get some equal light and they're not getting shaded too much by the top row, and they're not getting smashed up against the glass when they're getting taller. You can see some of these dahlias getting real big here. I didn't get up potted yet. The zinnias here are getting all lanky as well, so I do want to top these zinnias, which you really can. Well, I'm going to actually wait till you see here where it has the first cotyledon leaves. They aren't actually real leaves, they're just to get the seed up and going. And then we have the first 2 true leaves. We have the second set and the third set starting right now. Once that third set grows a little bit away from the second set like it has here, I'm going to pinch that third set off. Right now, if I do it, I might not get the whole thing and I'll end up fimming it. But I'm gonna wait a little bit on those, see if I have one that's ready. Not quite. All of them are still pretty stocky. This one's just starting to separate, but still a little bit waiting on those. Peppers, I can top some more of these peppers, but these now are all my extra peppers and tomatoes. Everything that I up pot is really all I needed for this year. I have some butterfly weed that finally germinated. I'm glad to get some of this up. Hopefully I can get it to bloom and start reseeding around the property. Some more annual dahlias, some bachelor buttons in here that are looking really nice. I'll be able to get these in the landscape soon. Some more calendula germinating and more giant zinnias. I did end up sowing a bunch of lupin, and these won't bloom this year. It'll take a whole 365 days to bloom, but I wanted to get some started, so maybe I'll have them for next year. And then I have a few gazanias popping up. Not great germination on the gazanias. The Shasta daisy did pretty good in this tray, probably about 50 or 60% germination. I do want to get some of these. These are also perennial. I'll be able to have in the landscape for a long time. As with the purple echinacea coneflower, these are perennials as well, so I'm trying to get some of these up and going so they'll be able to be lasting in the landscape throughout the years. My onions are doing great. If you checked out M.I. Gardner's one of his last videos, he just showed the importance of pruning your onions, and you do want to prune your onions so they don't flop over and snap their necks. So I'll probably come in here and prune these back about 3-4 inches or so, just to get them a little bit stockier and stronger stems so they can grow up nice and big. I have a whole tray of cabbage and broccoli back here that I should have probably already put out, but I am waiting on my mushroom compost. I'm still working on getting the load of mushroom compost here. I probably should get that this coming weekend, so I'll be able to start loading up the raised beds over there and start laying down some compost so I can plant in it. It is probably the time of year to be planting. We shouldn't have any more frost now. It's just the beginning of May and the frost should be over. Typically we do get one last frost after some warm weeks, and it's that killing frost that comes in and takes out all the plants that people thought they could put in early. So I'm trying to hold off and not have that problem. And if you can tell, it's raining outside, and it's been raining for a long time. So typically you do want to plant whenever the rain is coming, but whenever it's raining for just weeks on end, if you put little plants like these outside, they're gonna drown. So it's actually better to keep these in the greenhouse for now so I can give them the better conditions. I have a fan running, you can probably hear it. So it does mimic the wind and keep the stems pretty strong as it blows the plants around here. Plus I'm coming in here watering. I'm probably gonna start fertilizing. I haven't been fertilizing, but the plants are getting pretty big now that I should probably start fertilizing. I have some light fertilizer that I'll be able to use on these, some organic stuff. So I'll get that out, and then I'll be able to start filling up the bucket with a little bit of fertilizer instead of just straight water. But all these plants are coming along, and I'm not as full as I was last year during this time, but I think I did rein myself in to try and plant just what I kind of want this year instead of having a ton of extras. Got a pretty decent germination on my tray of portulaca, so that's going to be around the pond looking beautiful this year. Also have some pak choi and Brussels sprouts, some more calendula, and some gazanias actually germinated down here. The gazanias will be going around the pond as well. And then you can see I had a whole dozen Shasta daisies not germinate in this tray. That's why I just keep sowing seeds and sowing seeds, so whenever a whole tray doesn't germinate like that, I still have some Shasta daisies to go out this year. I have the herbs doing well too. The basil, thyme, sage, rosemary, fennel, artichoke. That's not really an herb, but they're all doing well in here too, getting big. That's all for this one. If you want to follow along, go subscribe down below. Hit that like button before you leave if you like what you see. And don't forget to check out all our other channels in the description below, so you'll be able to get all the content coming out here from Whitt Acres. Echo, trying to do an outro here, bud. You can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for. All right, puppy. All right. And to stop in at the greenhouse to check on the plants. And to stop in at the greenhouse to check in on all the plants. What's going on? What's going on? Am I off the track? On the track. Oh, I'm hooked. Hooked myself.